Transfer carnage by name. Transfer carnage by nature. The work rate is real. I am putting the work rate in just like Richard Hughes is seemingly putting the work rate in the last week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning us once again. It's transfer deadline week, and Liverpool are making a late surge into the market. And we're here to discuss it all. We're here to give you opinions, hot takes, arguments, all of that business. No, not really. I don't think we're going to argue, but you never know. Steve might not like my hat because he's jealous. But Steve, how are we?
No, mate, I love the hat. I'm good, mate. I'm very, very good. I'm having a week off work, so obviously this is like a busman's holiday. I've decided to take a week off work and then still come on the internet and talk about Liverpool. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just addicted to talking about Liverpool. I don't know, but thanks for inviting me on. I've been trying to get on for a while. I've been trying to get this sorted, so it's nice.
When you tell me about holiday and we go, opportunistic. That's the word of the summer, right? That is the word of the summer. When it comes to Liverpool and transfers and everything, opportunist. So when I saw Steve's got a gap in his diary, I was in there like a shot. Release clause, terms agreed. Uni bomber, Steve is on. Nice one, Steve. Of course, I'm joking. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, man.
I need to invite. It's all good. But someone who is making his debut, and I'm so happy that he is. You know, one of the nicest people I know, man. Actually, they're all nice at 90 minutes, but one of the nicest people I know. Marco, how are you, my brother? Hope you're doing very well.
Oh, good, Grizz. You're too kind. Happy to be here.
Good stuff. And obviously, if people don't know Marco is Serie A's biggest expert. I'm telling you now, he is. When Marco speaks anything Serie A, I listen. And the funny thing is, Marco, we're going to get into, obviously, the whole Chiesa business. But do you remember I asked you about Chiesa a few months ago?
Yeah.
Was it a couple of months ago?
At the old studio in Anamina, I think it was probably 8 months ago, 6 months ago.
8 months ago. So, we had a little chat about Chiesa but there was murmurings of Chiesa back then as well. And you was like, well, actually, I won't tell everyone what you said. No, we will tell you what you said about Chiesa. But guys, there's over 400 of you nicely camped already in here. I hope there's about 200 likes. If not for Marco and Steve, if not for me, you know what I mean? Come on. We have Arne Slot's body double. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you not like Arne Slot's body double? You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be used. I'm telling you now, he's going to be used in a couple of shots probably. But evening, lads. All the usuals are in. Evening, mate. I guess we start off. Bloody hell, so much. The agenda's all ripped up and everything. I didn't even send you one, Steve, because I thought we're just going to chat shit and waffle on. But we've got so much.
I wouldn't have read it anyway, Paul.
I know you wouldn't have read it anyway, so I just saved myself a few paragraphs. But I'll let you say his name, because every time I practice, and then when it comes to it, I freeze and I mess it up. So we've signed a big, huge, massive, 6'4" Georgian keeper who looks the part, got a massive build, broad-shouldered, got a beautiful beard. What do you think?
Georgi Mamardashvili. There you go. I don't think that one's that difficult. I think like Chiesa might be more difficult than Mamardashvili.
Do you reckon?
Maybe just me. I'm an idiot. I've been practicing, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like you say, it's done. It's official. He's through the door. Well, sort of. He's through the door and back out of it again. He's Grandpa Simpson. They're back to Valencia for a little bit. But man, I'm really I'm excited by it. I don't know what the future means. When I first heard the links, my presumption was Alisson might have said he wants to go in a year or so, and Liverpool are just getting ahead of that certain situation. But Alisson's interview the other day with Paul Joyce with the journalist was, he wants to stay till the end of his contract, which is 2027. So we'll see. No one has to make any decisions now, of course. Like, they can leave him Valencia and then just see where the land lies in a year's time. But what Liverpool have done, they've got one of the next up and coming goalkeepers. This feels like a very stats-driven signing, where all the stats point to Mamardashvili is doing that with his career, similar to what Alisson was doing at Roma. As Mark will be able to tell us later, he saw that at the time. Mamardashvili is doing a similar thing where he's on the trajectory up, and Liverpool have gone, it cost us 60-70 million pounds to do this last time. Let's not do that again. Let's get this guy in. So I always say, worst case is how Alisson's brilliant for 3 more years and the guy has to wait, that's fine by me. It doesn't bother me at all. Because the last thing I want is Liverpool to get rid of Alisson Becker. But what they've done is they've got his replacements already 2 years before, and I don't think that's ever a bad thing. That's what good teams do. You should have your replacements in the door, because when you don't, you end up in a little bit of bother, like Liverpool have found themselves in at times.
It's funny though, isn't it, Steve? Like, all our fan base has been talking about is succession planning on Virgil and Mo and Fabinho going back a little bit, and then Mane going back a little bit more. And then when we do it, there seems to be an uproar like, why are we buying a keeper for the future? You know, as you said, this is what we were renowned for, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, being ahead of the curve, so to speak. And look, admittedly, I'd say we've fallen behind the curve the last 18 months or so. I think we can admit that, right? We've fallen behind the curve. And now we seem to be getting our house in order, structure in order, literally behind the scenes and hopefully on the pitch as well. People are up in arms, but this makes all the sense. Like you say, we had, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. We had brother from Georgian footy yesterday, forgot his name. Someone in the chat, lovely fella. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. But he was telling us about how Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City, Chelsea were all in for this guy. And we've gone ahead of the curve. 25 million as a down payment. In this modern day and age, Steve, if we've got our future number one sorted, that's a fantastic piece of business in isolation. And I get all the noise around it.
Yeah, like I say, mate, if he's as good as advertised, as good as everyone seems to suggest he is, and from what I've seen, he looks the business. You know, 6'6", built like you mentioned before, like a fridge, but also saves everything, getting better at his feet. I think that's something that he's still working on at Valencia. Then it's perfect. Like I say, and I don't even mind the loan because he's playing football. You know, he'll have a year's worth of development. He's still only young where he needs those games. So I think it's perfect for everyone. My only concern is, like I say, what this means for Alisson's future. But listen, we'll cross that bridge next summer. There's stuff that, you know, Alisson's here for this year. He's here. Kelleher is here. It looks like, unless something mad happens over the next couple of days, Liverpool are fine for goalkeepers for this season. And then it's almost like we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and Liverpool will cross that bridge when we get to it.
Our resident Elvis Presley lookalike is in the building. Ganto, he says, Grizz, big up the panel. Met Steve at the Redmen show in Dublin this year. Big up to Marco. Smash them likes, people. What a lovely message. Thank you very much, Ganto, as usual. Yeah, we bought our keeper from Serie A, Marco. And at the time, I don't know about, you might disagree, but at the time, would you say that Alisson was world-class levels, or was his kind of trajectory was onto world-class levels?
I think he was at the same. I think you guys did the same with Salah, basically. Yeah. You got him from Roma right before he was basically elite. I think you made them elite. I think it was the same case with Alisson. He was so great. Like, I remember, I think he shared one season with Chesney as well, and Chesney was already top class. Well, I wouldn't call Chesney top class, but I would put him like, you know, second tier behind all the big goalkeepers. And he managed to take the job from Chesney. That thing that was the first season in Rome. And then you guys came and paid 70 million or something like that. So I would say that he wasn't elite, but he was almost there. Same as what you guys did with Salah, basically.
Yeah, and this is what we're saying. Sort of, it makes sense with Mamardashvili. I think I've done it there. I smashed it. Thank you. Round of applause for me, everyone. Actually, just hit the like button instead. But yeah, I think that's what we're doing. That's what the plan is. Trying to sort of get ahead of the curve. And look, I get the noise. Oh, we don't need. This is not an order of priority. We do get the noise, though, isn't it, Steve? Yeah, but we can look at transfers in isolation. Like, they're right. Whoever says it's not number one in priority, I wouldn't even say it's top 3 in priorities. But it's still somewhere along the lines. We have, in my opinion, the 4 most iconic legends to replace in the next few years. Virgil, Alisson, Salah, and Robertson. We have to, at some stage, think about replacing them. And if we've done it early, surely we can judge this transfer in isolation and leave the rest of the noise for a little while, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think it's a good signing. I think it's clever. And like I say, it doesn't affect us for a year. Don't have to worry about it. Job done. Everything's sorted.
I was going to say, are you slightly I don't know what the word is, but do you wish he was loaned in the Premier League? I know the Premier League rules didn't let him.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. He couldn't have done it, so it's fine. I'd rather him stay at Valencia than get shipped off somewhere else for a year. Ideally, like when it was first talked about that he could go to Bournemouth and something happens there, yeah, I wouldn't have minded that. But listen, part of the deal was he wanted to stay at Valencia. I don't think he fancied those Premier League loans or whatever. So I'm absolutely fine with it, and he gets to stay there. And if he doesn't have to move house for a year to go to Bournemouth and then move up to he doesn't have to worry about that. He can stay where he is for the year. So jobs are good, and that one's done. And let's move on to the next ones. Let's see if Richard, Michael, and Anna can get a couple more through the door before deadline on Friday.
Well, London buses are famous for sort of, you wait for one. Me and Marco know you won't have London buses in Scousland, but London. What? Just off topic. What kind of buses do you guys have in Liverpool? Like, are they what are they called? Like normal buses?
Just a bus, mate. Yeah.
Fair enough.
We have the stagecoaches and the Arriva buses. Yeah. So I'll be honest, I don't really use them, but yeah, we do have.
Okay. Me and Marco will tell you the London Red buses are known to you'll be waiting ages and ages and ages. And then when one comes, there's like 3 or 4 of them come at the same time. And you think, what the fuck? Like, what was the point of that? Am I right, Marco? It's crazy.
Yeah, you're 100% right. 100%.
Well, it looks like Liverpool may be doing something similar. So Mamardashvili is through the door, and thank God for that. Brilliant fee, brilliant work. Today, Ornstein and Fabrizio, who's been actually broke the exclusive, Fabrizio Romano, revealed yesterday. Was it Steve? I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, when he first revealed the bombshell that we are looking into Federico Chiesa. When you first heard it, Marco, was you surprised and shocked? Because the Italian perspective is this was on the cards, not Liverpool, but the exit of Chiesa was on the cards, right?
Yeah, it has been going on for a while because he's entering the last year of his contract. So for the past year, Juventus has tried to negotiate with him a renewal of his contract. But the last year, he has basically asked for crazy money, crazy wages. But the thing is, during this past year, it became very, very obvious that Juve and Chiesa were a mismatch. The main reason being that Juventus for the last year has been trying to cut down wages. At the point that we released Chesney, we have gotten rid of all the major salaries. The thing with Chiesa is that he wanted to be one of the top paid in the team. And next season, Vlahovic's salary is going up to like 12 million, I think. So he was asking for the same amount of money. And Juve was basically like, look, we're not going to give you this. It's just crazy money. And to be honest, in the past 3 years, you haven't done anything to deserve it. Because he signed in 2021 with Pirlo. He was the coach back then. He had an incredible season. He came out of the gate like scoring. He was just incredible. He won the Euros at the end of the season. He was the best player by far that season. He got us a trophy, the Italian Cup. And it all looked very, very like on the route to him being one of the greatest Juve player. So what happened? On the second season, Allegri comes back to Juventus. His style of play never fit him. Basically, Allegri for the past 3 years has been trying to play with a 3-5-2. I was going to say
for people that won't know what you mean by the Allegri coaching style, would we say he's like the David Moyes of Italian football? Or is that too harsh?
I would say that, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
He's basically, he basically played for 3 years with the 3-5-2 formation, and he tried to play Chiesa as a second striker. Okay. He never worked there. That's not his position at all. He needs to have like free spaces down the wing to actually be able to produce danger. So he wasn't a fit. Then after like the first 6 months with Allegri in charge, he got his ACL done. So he missed like a year and a half. He took a bit of time to come back. The past season, he was a bit on and off, in the sense that, yeah, he's fit, but like a lot of the things that people say around the Juve war is that as soon as he gets like a little bit of a pain or something, he wants to like not play. I think he has improved that in the last couple of months. I think fitness-wise won't be an issue if he signs for Liverpool. The other thing is, like, during this past year as well, while he was negotiating his renewal, Juve basically told him, okay, then bring us some offers, like, from other clubs. We were asking for 30 million like a couple of months ago. Not a single offer came. Wow. He was putting a lot of chips on him having a very nice Euros. That didn't happen. He didn't do basically anything on it. So yeah, it just became aware that at this point that we just needed to get rid of him. And the only thing we're asking at the moment is how much he's worth in the books. So he cost I think it was like 50 million euros back in 2020. So now his remaining worth in the books is like 12 million euros, which is basically what we're asking for him. So 50 million euros will get Juventus will take anything at this point.
Steve, obviously Marco's given us the Italian perspective. Our perspective is always, you know what Liverpool fans are. You know what we're like? We're like, wait, hold on. If he's so good, because that's the most common question, isn't it? If he's so good, why is a club like Juventus getting rid of him? Like an Italian superstar, national team hero. Okay, maybe not hero, but acclaimed star of the Italian national team. Why have they let his contract run down? Why is he so cheap? Because they made such a hoo-ha, didn't they, Marco, about signing him in the first place? They done a complex loan deal, because I remember we were very interested in the first time round. But Steve, why are we exploring this deal really, really intensively now, in your opinion?
I think the managers realised we need 6 forwards, proper forward options. This season is going to be intense. It really is. Like, there's no, with all due respect, like Europa League where you could rest and rotate. There's none of that. There's another 2 Champions League games, possibility of 4 if you end up in that, that second phase after the league phase. Is it 9th to 24, 4 play extra games. So I think Liverpool have realised it's going to be an intense season. My guess is Liverpool and Arne Slot, Richard Hughes, etc., want 2 players for every position, and we haven't got that at right wing. We've got Mo Salah, and then behind Mo Salah, it's someone playing out of position, really. Now, Chiesa can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play down the middle, as Marco said before. He's play up, whether he was playing off Vlahovic or he was playing left wing, right wing, he can do all of this. So I think it adds that. And then when you start looking at Liverpool's team, they're pretty much there where they will have 2 in every position now. Right wing is actually, I've seen a lot of comments, and I've seen a lot all summer really of like Liverpool's needs, and I've been saying all summer, Liverpool need to find someone so that it can't always just be Mo Salah. And when Mohamed Salah doesn't play, too often Liverpool have had to completely change their style of play. We've seen it loads, and touch wood, he doesn't often get injured, but when he does, or when he's been away at AFCON, and we've stuck Harvey Elliott or Diogo Jota, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in the past, it's fundamentally, listen, Liverpool have won games without Mo Salah, they've done quite well, but it fundamentally has changed the way the side plays, and I don't think Arne Slot wants that. He's implementing the new system as it is. He doesn't want to implement a new system, and then one player goes out and he can't play the same system. And what I've noticed, Grizz, in the first 2 games, this system is built for Mo Salah a lot. Mo Salah's the out ball, Mo Salah's in space a lot, to getting the ball to Mo Salah as quick and often as they can. Therefore, you need someone to play, because he can't. He's in his 30s. He shouldn't have to play every game. So someone with pace, someone who dribbles, someone who runs with the ball, someone who's willing to go at their man. That is what Chiesa is. Like say, my thoughts on squad players has always been, I think you should sign a first team player, and then whoever's currently in your first team becomes your squad player. I've always believed that's the case. There are exceptions to every rule, because you are not going to sign someone better than Mohamed Salah. That person doesn't exist. It's impossible. It's impossible. We are not signing another right winger who comes in and scores the goals and gets the assist that Mo Salah does. I don't think there's one on the planet. And if there is, he's probably not come to sit on Liverpool's bench. So therefore, there are certain areas I think where you do have to think, what, even if we can't get the superstar to push someone down to the bench, can you get someone who closes the gap between what you've currently got and the starter? And I think Chiesa does that. You know, at the moment, like I say, with all due respect, Harvey Elliott came on at the weekend at right wing. The game was done; it was fine, but I don't think we'd ever really. I think Harvey's midfielder, for example. So I like the. I've been saying for all summer, I think it's a priority signing. Liverpool should have 6 forwards, and it looks like they agree. And they've made the deal. And like Marco said before, it's, you know, the word opportunistic's been banded around all summer. Someone somewhere has got on the phone to Liverpool and said, Juventus want this guy out. They're trying to sign Jadon Sancho. You know, his contract's running low. There's all this stuff going on. You loved him 4 years ago. Do you want to go at them? And Liverpool have probably said how much, and they've gone 15 million euros, and Liverpool have gone, yeah, absolutely fine, because we'll sell Bobby Clark and we'll get Federico Chiesa. I thought you couldn't say his name. We'll get him in. It's just, like I say, for me it's a no-brainer. It's a gamble for all the reasons we've laid out. His injury record isn't great. I mean, the ACL is a bad one, but you can't do much about that. If your ACL goes, your ACL goes. Since then, it's been little niggly ones here and there, miss a week, miss a game, miss a couple of games. Liverpool's record of signing Italian players is poor. Like, I don't know if we've had one who you'd say is anywhere remotely near.
I don't think any Italian players do well in the UK unless they sign for Chelsea, basically.
Yeah, I was just going to say Chelsea have about 5.
That's the only place where Italian players do well in England.
So it definitely comes with risk, but the risk is negated by the fact that it's 15 million euros. Like, it's very similar, I think, to when we signed Shaqiri, albeit it's a better player. I think Chiesa's a top player. I still think if Liverpool can get, he played 30 games for Juventus last season. If Liverpool can get 30 games out of him, and it's 30 games where I would say 20 of those are off the bench, it's an absolute no-brainer. And listen, he might pleasantly surprise you. I think it is, Liverpool have found this difficult for a while, Grizz, because Mo Salah's so good. Who's the deputy? And we've tried a few different options here and there. And Taki Minamino was in for a while. And I think until Mo Salah leaves, this is kind of what the backups to Mo Salah's got to be, because it's impossible. He's that good. He's a goal, a goal or an assist in every single home league game on average. It's incredible. You can't get better than that. So what can you do to protect yourself in case Mo Salah does what happened last January and his hamstring goes again? Well, now at least I think Liverpool have decided we've got a good option. So I'm all for it for the price. I think, if you were talking 50 million euros, 60 million euros, I would be saying, you know what, there's probably too much of a gamble there. For 15 million euros, I think you've got to. What's the downside? It costs you 10 million quid. You've just got 10 million quid by selling a couple of kids you got nearly treble that by selling Fabio Carvalho to Brentford. It's absolutely worth the risk, but it is a risk. There's no doubt about it. It's just negated by the fact that he's coming in to be a squad player and not a first team player.
Marco, Steve talks about sort of the new manager implementing formation. He's got this formation really going already. And obviously he's going to change it and vary it up, or we'd like to think, or that's what he tells us as well anyway. But he speaks about Mohamed Salah, and Steve's spot on. Everything has gone through Mohamed Salah. Usually anyway, but this season more specifically. I then want to ask you the question then, Chiesa, what is his best position in your opinion? What has been his favored position in your opinion? And has the injury, sorry, I'm getting my money's worth. I'm asking you 3 questions in one. But has his injury had an effect on what kind of position he can play? Because, for example, some players, they may be a dashing winger, dynamic winger, and then become a sort of a number 10, which requires less running, but still got the intelligence. How would you describe Chiesa pre-injury and post-injury, and is there any difference?
I think the best we've seen out of Chiesa was up front in a 3 on either wing. Like, for example, the first season with Pirlo, he played a lot on the left wing and on the right wing. He was great at both sides, to be honest. He won the Euros on the right wing, like a substitution. He came in as a substitution for Berardi. You guys saw what he did. In the last few years up to the injury, that's the thing. We have played him in the worst positions, like second striker. He won't have any impact as a second striker.
Okay.
He was play a lot also as a wing back on a 3-5-2. He was play a lot on the left side.
Really? He actually played as a wing back?
He played a few games there, which was probably the worst decision you can make for a guy coming back from an ACL.
We had Bobby Firmino doing that, didn't we, Steve? So we've got good history of that. Bobby Firmino under Brendan Rodgers, was it? Under Brendan?
Mate, yeah, I remember going to Sunderland and watching Lazar Markovic have a go as well.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we've tried some as well, mate. It very rarely works. Raheem Sterling had a little go at it once as well.
Yeah.
Man United, Raheem Sterling, great time. Yeah, so we've all been there. Yeah, managers and putting people at right wing back.
Yeah, I think playing him on either wing will get the best results out of him, basically. Yeah, either right side, left side, maybe a bit better on the right side, but I wouldn't call it that much of a difference. After the injury, he might have lost a step, but it hasn't been that noticeable. I think he still has. I think he still has a lot of pace, and the thing about Chiesa is that he's a guy who, when he gets the ball, he creates havoc, and I think that fits very well in the Premier League. Not only that, like Steve was mentioning, the fitness worries, like, they can be mitigated by the fact that he won't be starting every game. He won't be starting every game, and he won't be the main guy on the team. Like, there will be, I think, a lot of more important players on the team that Liverpool will rely on. So I think this is probably a great fit. I think it's a way better fit than Barcelona. I don't see him like being a great fit over there. But I do see him as a good Premier League player. He also, like, for an Italian, which is very weird, he speaks perfect English. He studied abroad. So I think on the personal side of things, he might be like very comfortable living in England, maybe.
I suppose I think the injury thing, and I've noticed some people in your chat doing like the injury prone. I don't think he's ever been injury prone. He had a really bad injury, and it was an ACL, and that's tough. But you can it doesn't mean you're injury prone. Like, Liverpool started the game the other day, and I think two of the best players are guys who had ACLs in the last couple of years. You know, Virgil van Dijk, Luis Diaz. We've seen Joe Gomez have ACL. Like, it's not the end of the world. Since then, if you actually go through his injury record, he's missed, like, he hasn't had a big one. He's missed the odd game here and there. I think he had a spell last season around December, January, where he was in out a little bit, where he was just not quite right. But he was available for most of the season. I think too much is made of an ACL. You know, it's different. It isn't like a guy who's I don't know, his hamstring keeps going, or, you know, his calf all the time. It was a bad one, and that can happen in football, and you can't mitigate against that. That can happen to any player on the pitch at any time. So I don't think he's injury prone. I think what Liverpool have done here, because I know Liverpool have been interested in him for a while, is they've seen him recover. He's had a season and a half. It was 22, wasn't it, when he done the ACL? So he's had a year and a half pretty much now of getting himself right. He's had a season under his belt. So I don't buy the injury stuff. Like, a lot of people are like,
I think he's had 2 seasons since he came back from ACL already.
I was gonna say, I don't often do homework and research before my streams, because I've always been like that as a kid. I've never done any homework or research, right? But I did do a little bit of reading, and Marco, I read that. So last season he featured in, I think it was like 35 games. This previous 2 seasons was 6 and 3, and then the season before that was like 30 as well, or something like that, 26 or 30. So Steve's right. It's when he's fit. Okay, you know what I mean by this. When he's fit, he's fit. He doesn't miss games, you know, like every. It was just the 2 seasons where he had the serious injuries, right? So
and
not only that.
Go on, Marco.
Go Steve.
I was going to say, if you look at last season when he did miss a few games with injury, it was a game here, a game there. You can kind of live with that if it's your 6 choice. What Liverpool had too many issues with was a Thiago or a Matip or a Chamberlain, or a Keita. How did I forget him? Where they were injured and they were out for 2 months, or they were out for 3 months. Like that's what I class as injury prone player, for lack of a better phrase. You know, they pick up a calf injury. It's like, oh, he'll be back in a week, and then we don't see them until after Christmas. So I was like, where's Thiago gone? You know, things like that. Chiesa, it's always been like he's out, like Mark said. Maybe it's him looking after his body a little bit as well. Like, I felt something, give me a week off. I can live with that. I can live with that as my 6th choice option. if he was your starter every week, then I agree. I was a Juventus fan, I could see why that would be frustrating. But like, I think as a sixth option, I'm okay with it. Like I say, I've got no issues with it. My main issue is, of course, is just, you know, again, it's a generalisation, but like, you know, Italian players in the Premier League have struggled. There's no doubt about that. It's just a different way of playing football. He's going to have to get used to that. That step up's going to be there. That's the only real negative for me. For 12 million, 10 million pound, whatever it's going to be, it's can he adapt, and is he going to get the game time to adapt? Because although he can play on the left, Liverpool have got two options out there already who are very good. Mo Salah very rarely doesn't play, but it might just be that we see what we saw the other day, where Salah goes off after 70 and you say, listen, we're looking after you for a bit. By the way, good luck, Mr. Left Back. You just had 70 minutes of Mo Salah. There's Chiesa coming on to give you a little run around for 20. Like, all the best. I think that might be the thinking, and I think it's really clever thinking. And then obviously when you get to other competitions in midweek, you all do a little bit more changing, because I think we're going to have to get used to the fact that even if it is just for this last season, we don't know what Mo Salah's future is. Looking after Mo Salah is key. Liverpool were very much in a title race, and then Mo Salah's injury, that was almost already straight away that, you know, Liverpool tried their best to cope through it and they just couldn't quite get there. They're almost, you know, Salah going off the other day is a perfect example. That never used to happen. So obviously they're going to try and look after him a little bit more. So having someone behind him, it makes perfect sense. I'm so happy they're doing this, because I've been saying all summer, and I saw it in the chat before, you know, DM, centre back. I was like, I get the DM one, but if I was ranking the three, it would have been DM, then it would have been someone who can play on the right, and then it would have been a centre back for me. And so I'm glad that Liverpool are getting that, at least getting the second one. Maybe we'll see what they do with the other ones. But I disagree when people say we don't need them. I think it's a massive glaring hole in the team, in the squad.
What I was going to read out this brilliant stat. I mean, I love my chat, the most intelligent chat around. Mo Salah had 70. So how does people work this out? How do they investigate this kind of level of information? Mo Salah had 77 career goals before joining Liverpool. Chiesa has now 77 career goals before potential Liverpool, and both have played for Fiorentina. Marco, Slot seems to be a very tactical manager with a lot of instructions for players. We've noticed so far. Steve will agree as well. We had the pleasure and honor of being on tour with them as well, and he's very hands-on. What do I mean by, like, in terms of instructions? Now, obviously, Chiesa plays for the Italian team. He's played for some stern masters at Juve as well. But what is he like as a character, as a personality? And does he take on instruction? And is he tactically... Okay, we might go on to touch Nunez later on in the show, but for me, Nunez is a very low level IQ footballer. All right, I'm going to put it out there. People can hate me. I don't care. There's over 1,000 of you. You can all dislike the button if you're Nunez fans, but I'm just being honest. I'm giving you my opinion. Nunez, to me, is a low level IQ. Bobby Firmino is a high level IQ footballer, right? In my opinion. How would you describe in that sense Chiesa?
I think I would put him somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
That's one of no, because I think that's probably one of the reasons why I don't see him as a fit in probably Barcelona, where it's a bit more of a tactical in the sense of like playing with the possession type of play. I think, like I told you before, I think he's a guy who creates havoc up front. That's why I think, like, for example,
that word chaos. We've already got someone who creates chaos, apparently. But yeah,
I think that's why one of the reasons why I see him being such a good fit in Premier League is because if you use him, as Steve was mentioning, like as a substitution after 70 minutes, like if you bring in Chiesa, like, I mean, 20 minutes of Chiesa, like with the tired fullback, it's just crazy. Yeah. So, and I think also, I think Juve want to get rid of him because of the contract situation. But another thing that people were saying is that Mota didn't see him as a fit on his team. I think that's probably not entirely true, but I can see it. Like, Mota's style of play is one where the wing backs have to like help a lot with defense. They have to come back a lot, stuff like that. I don't see Chiesa being that player. I think he's more of a free soul up front, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, he will leave everything on the pitch. He will run like a crazy. Yeah, but
we love that.
Yeah, but I don't see him helping out much in defense. In the Fiorentina days, he used to play a lot as a wing back as well, on the 3-5-2 formation as well. But I don't see that happening after like his ACL situation.
Yeah, I don't like this 3-5-2 that people keep speaking about in terms of him playing as a wing back.
I don't think you will ever play that formation anyways.
but that kind of well, man, because I'm thinking if he has played there quite a few times, he will have experience of tracking back and having a little bit of a defensive head, because we certainly defend as a team. I know Mohamed Salah, Steve, I don't know what you think, but Salah probably, and Klopp used to allude to it, has probably the freest pass in terms of pressing the least. But I don't know. I mean, to me, Chiesa looks like someone who does press from the front, from what I've seen of him. What I was going to say, Marco, there is a bit of... Go on, you was going to say something.
No, I was going to say that basically I've seen him play the last 3 seasons under Allegri where we basically did no pressing at all. So that doesn't help either to actually...
Yeah, Allegri's apparently not got a very good reputation in terms of progressive football and coaching. Totally opposite at slot, and maybe that would have appealed to him. Maybe if he knows his coaches, he knows his European football. Maybe he knows, Barcelona. He'd probably be behind Yamal and who's the other one? They've got another youngish winger.
They got Dani Olmo. They wanted to get. They wanted to get Nico Williams, but I don't know if that happened.
It's different being understudied to youngsters, where Chiesa probably thinks I'm a fully fledged Italian international. But when he comes to Liverpool, it's Luis Diaz, Colombian international, Mohamed Salah, Premier League GOAT. So he'll have more respect, and he probably, appreciates the challenge. But I'm glad that he wants the Liverpool move, isn't it, Steve? Because we've been burnt very recently with this wanting Liverpool, but the fact and the stories coming out are saying that he wants Liverpool. That breeds a bit of confidence, doesn't it?
The main thing with him. Oh, sorry, Steve.
I think that's probably the first thing anyone should find out.
Yeah.
Like last time, someone should have asked this fella first. Now apparently they did, and he changed his mind. So don't count any chickens before they hatch, kind of thing. But it's all come from Fabrizio Romano, this story, hasn't he? Fabrizio's been all over this, and I think there's obvious connections between the Chiesa camp and the Romano camp. So I think that you can take that as pretty much, the player wants to move. I think we heard quite early on through the Zubimendi stuff. It was maybe not. He hasn't quite made. We haven't heard none of that so far, which is a good thing. Like I say, anything can happen. Don't count your chickens and all that kind of stuff. But you are right. It is nice that someone actually wants to go sign for us, because we had a couple of opportunities last summer where people didn't want to join us, and then we've had this one earlier this summer. It was starting to become a little bit of a, maybe not a concern, but it almost made you think, like, what are we doing everything right? Doing our due diligence on these kind of stuff. So it looks like anyway that the fella fancies the move, which is always a positive, because once bitten, twice shy. Liverpool have been bitten about 5 times.
I'm telling you that. So then obviously it comes down to agreeing a deal. We know 15 million euros is the asking price. I think, and I tweeted as well, I think little birdie tells me I think we get him for even cheaper. I think we get him
I was gonna say like 12. I think it's 12 or 30 million euros should do it. I know they were speaking about Barcelona offering 10 million plus 2 or 3 for bonus, all in euros, not even pounds. So
wow,
there you go.
Yeah, I think we get him for £10 million, circa. But I was going to say about the wages. By the way, there's over 1,000 of you guys in here. Since I made the low level IQ comment, you've stopped liking it. What's going on? Low level likes. Hurry up, get on the likes, man, people. Wages. What's he on at the moment? You said he's very high wages, but not as much as Vlahovic. So Vlahovic is your top earner.
Yeah. So Vlahovic at the moment is. I'm gonna speak in net wages. So Vlahovic is at 9 million, and next season he's 12. Chiesa at the moment is 6, I believe, or something like 5 plus 1 in bonus. He wanted to get near Vlahovic status, so 9 million. But at this point, I'm pretty sure, like, seeing the lack of offers that he had during the summer, because I think even Besiktas approached him some other teams as well, Roma, Napoli, and the wage demands were crazy. I also think that seeing that's the type of market he had, seeing a team like Liverpool coming, because the main thing he wanted, like from a team, was play Champions League. Yeah. And what I've noticed about Chiesa during this last year or last few months is that he thinks a bit too highly of himself still. Like, he hasn't realized the last 3 seasons the level that he's had. Asking for Vlahovic salary, expecting like a lot of money from other teams. I think that I don't know what's the situation with Liverpool offering wages to him at the moment. But I don't think he gets to be too picky, because he's out of the team at Juve, and we have been very clear with him that he won't play again with us anymore.
I think I'm right in saying Liverpool have offered him around 80,000 a week, plus again the add-ons and the bonuses. The difference is, of course, it's a 4-year deal, so it's a no-brainer for him. You know, we stay on.
How much that yearly? How much is that yearly?
About maybe €5 million, something like that, roughly.
Which is basically what he's earning now. And
it's a 4-year deal as well. And Liverpool will heavily incentivize players as well. There'll be a base, and then there'll be, you know, they tie bonuses into these things all the time just to make sure to get those numbers up. I know, you know, Mo Salah's on a very hefty goal bonus, and he cashes that in every week. I think the other guys do as well. So I think that's what Liverpool are looking at. So for the player, you know, age 26, 27, getting yourself a 4-year deal, offer, you know, a team who are in the Champions League competing for trophies. I mean, it's a good move. I understand it might have happened, Grizz, because, you know, he probably did have his heart set on Barcelona at some point, maybe, and for whatever, you know, that they're a mess and they can't sign players, and they've just got Dani Olmo signed because the defender got injured, and it's crazy what they're doing. So that was always unlikely for him. So I think actually, you know, for a team of Liverpool stature and quality to come in for him, it's a massive issue. I'm not surprised he wants to join us, because, like I say, he's going to play Champions League. He's going to be playing for a good team, competing. You'd like to hope competing for trophies very early on. It's about, and he's on again. It's a very good contract. I'm not sure how many teams would be offering him a 4-year deal, you know, given any concern. So I think it's a really good deal for the player. I'm not surprised he wants to join us. And okay, it feels like it's again, the proof will be in the pudding. One of those deals that all 3 parties are happy with. Liverpool are happy to get him. Juventus are happy to get him off the wage book and get some money in now and save himself 150 grand a week or whatever they're paying him. And the player gets to go to, you know, he gets to join Liverpool, and what an opportunity that is for him.
I was going to say, I think as well, I think the fact that it's a 4-year deal and Barcelona and have no, like, their planning is up in arms. Like they don't know what's happening next week. Never mind 4-year deal to players, whatever. And he would have been on shaky ground trying to sort of start his career, not start his career again, but, you know, rejuvenate his career at Barcelona. Whereas Liverpool, it does make sense. He's under a very progressive coach, and like Marco says, he's a forward-thinking player. He's an all-action type. I said to Marco when I was speaking to him at the studio, and I said he was my favorite attacker in 2020, like 3-4 years ago. Even though we weren't thinking of Mohamed Salah's successor, but do you remember when sort of there was, you know, rumors of Salah maybe running down his contract, whatever? I was still thinking Chiesa is the only success. In my eyes, in my head, it was Chiesa. And then he had that crazy injury. And I must admit, I haven't had an eye on him recently, so I don't know what he's like. And that's why I thank Marco for coming on and giving a bit of insight, because we do need that. I agree with you, because now that gives us the Chiesa, Salah, right wing, Nunez, Jota, centre forwards, Diaz and Gakpo, left wing. And that's 2 in every position pretty much, isn't it? And that's what we're trying to create.
Mate, that's as good a front 6 as you're going to get, really. I mean, I'd be surprised if many teams
in Europe.
If Chiesa is your 6th forward option, maybe. I mean, he might go higher than that, maybe Darwin or whatever. But like, that's a strong front 6 Liverpool have got there. You know, there's a lot of talk about Liverpool's squad depth, and I disagree with it. And I know a lot of people bash me on Twitter or whatever for it.
Bash you?
Nah. I know. Yeah, it's fine. I'm used to it. Don't worry about it. I get paid by FSG and whatever, access and tickets and all this bollocks. Liverpool's depth, I think, like, Liverpool got a lot of good players. There are a couple of areas where I think it's a quality issue rather than a numbers issue.
100%.
I'd say number 6 is the next one on that list. But like Liverpool, we are very, very close to having a second team that is, I could run through it very, very quickly. So you could have Kelleher, Tsimikas, Kwanzaa, Gomez, Bradley, Endo, Elliott, Jones, maybe, unless maybe Gakpo, Nunez, Chiesa. I mean, that's a good second 11. That's a strong.
That's a second 11, yeah.
And then behind that, you might have a couple of kids and a couple of other players on the fringes and stuff like that. So that's not Liverpool's depth in certain areas is fine. There's just a little again. There's probably a quality issue. I'd say probably around number 6, maybe left-footed centre backs or something, maybe, but. I don't think we're a million miles away from it. We've been able to put out 2 really competitive teams, and I think that's what everybody's looking for. So I think they're not miles away. I would like them to do more because I don't think it's quite complete. There's obviously certain players might leave, and we know that as the window isn't closing yet. But I think we've got a very good, very strong 20 to 22 players. There's just a couple of areas where maybe you could add a little bit more, just because probably there's always an injury. There's Jones is out now and Kwanzaa's had a little bit of an issue, so you have to have probably a strong 25. I don't think Liverpool are miles away from having that.
Red Zabby says, ask Marco about Locatelli. We were also interested in him a few years back. He's go on. What's that sign mean?
No, so Locatelli was great before joining us. He had an amazing Euros as well. Then Allegri happened. He had the worst.
It's that coach again, Allegri.
He had the worst 3 seasons, and he's had 2 games with Mota. He seems like a completely different player. Like he is like it's like he brought him back to life. It's amazing what the right fit as a coach can make to you as a player. I think he lost literally 3 years of his career playing under Allegri. Like he was played basically as an added center back with him. We did sign him to a new contract, so I don't see him like leaving unless a good offer comes, like I don't know, 50 million, something like that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see him this season because I think he's bound to have a comeback season, and I hope he does because he was incredible.
Great stuff. Over 1,100 of you guys in here. We thought it might be a busy show today, but thank you very much for the support. Leon says, big up Grizz. Steve and Marco, the sense talkers, though. I get it. I know you didn't mean that, but it comes across like that. Yeah, big up Grizz, but Steve and Marco, the sense talkers. But now I'm joking. Okay, it's not all hunky-dory glory, Steve. We have some squad stroke youngsters leaving the club this week also. We know that Clark's gone. Who else is gone? Owen Beck has gone. And it looks like Bajcetic and Morton seem to be going on the way out. Any reservations or no? Trust the coach. This is his decision. We've obviously got a succession plan for the youngsters or new youngsters to step into that void. Meanwhile, these guys go out, get game time, get experience. And then if they do well, we bring them back. If they don't, we get good fees for them. Is that how you see it?
I think the Morton one is different. I think he's going. I think he'll go whether it's on loan with a view to a permanent deal or something. I think Bajcetic is just the one where it's to get games. He's missed a lot of time, and we were there for pre-season. I was there for I was on the training session at Philadelphia. He's just miles off it. He was then. He looked miles off it in the pre-season in some of the games we saw him. He just needs to play. So, and he's got to go and play under a coach who knows him, plays a similar style. If he does go to Salzburg, so that makes sense. I am a little bit concerned because I mentioned before about what that does for numbers, and Liverpool will probably have like 6. The issue I think maybe is eased by how highly rated Trey Yoni is by Arne Slot. He probably overtook Bajcetic in the pecking order anyway this summer. So I was the 6th that I've mentioned earlier, and then Trey Yoni 7th. Bajcetic is looking at being like number 8 in that, and he's just not going to get game time. So I can see why they're doing that one. But I think we're also scarred by Liverpool injuries, and rightly so, because injuries are, the injury bug bit heavily at times in previous years. Arne Slot, I think publicly, and I think behind the scenes, and his staff are quite adamant they can improve Liverpool's injury record. They believe their methods, added to the fact that their style of play, will help keep Liverpool's players fitter. They believe that. They wholeheartedly believe that. proofs in the pudding. We'll find out down the line. So I would like to say, I don't think that, to be honest, they're two players who didn't kick a ball for Liverpool hardly last season. You know what I mean? So it was the same with Carvalho. It was the same with Seth Vandenberg. They weren't part of the squad. Liverpool haven't lost anybody yet who played a major part in last season, really. Matip was the closest, and he got injured, was it October against Fulham?
Yeah.
So Liverpool haven't lost anyone who was a major contributor. There are just, for me, there's a little bit of concern around you're only 1 or 2 injuries away from your bench being, you know, you're looking at your bench and you've got like a real young kid on it, a bit of inexperience, so maybe they do something there. But yeah, Morton, I think, is just leaving. Go for him. Go, you know, what a move if he can get that Leverkusen thing sorted. Bajcetic is actually, he needs to play. He's not going to get fitter by being Liverpool's 8th choice, and he's no good to Liverpool while he's not fit. So it's almost like not the, you know, the perfect storm. He's not fit, so he can't play. He can't play, so he can't get fit. And you're just going round in this big circle. Let him go and get fit, and hopefully Salzburg, I'm sure there'll be some type of agreement where he has to play. Yeah,
that's what they're suggesting. That you know, if he does go to Leverkusen, I don't know how true this can be, though. I don't know how you can promise to play 50% of the games if you're fit. I mean,
it's usually a money thing, Grizz, though. It's usually like the more he plays, the less you pay, kind of thing. So you almost get fined for not playing him, for lack of a better phrase. That's how they tend to structure these. So we'll see. I mean, Salzburg have got a lot of midfielders, so we'll see how that pans out. But I think it's a good move. I am a little bit nervous of what's behind, because I like Trainioni. He's very young, obviously they like him. Other than him, I'm not sure what else Liverpool have got in that midfield area, really, who I could say are ready to come through just yet.
McConnell's played a couple of games.
And he's injured as well.
And he's injured as well. That's why he's probably not going out on loan, because he would have gone out on loan as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. We've got about 8-9 minutes to go, and we've got a couple of more topics to touch upon. Joe Gomez, what a magnificent servant to the club, coming up to a decade. Obviously, we know that he's been given permission to speak to a few clubs. Steve, where are you with the Joe Gomez scenario debate? Mixed opinions, of course, as with always with the Liverpool fan base, or most fan bases. Some saying, no, we can't afford to let him go because they have no trust in us bringing anyone in. Some saying, get rid of him because it will force us to go into the market and bring someone else in. Where are you at?
He can't go now unless someone's in. That just can't happen. You can't go into the season with 3 centre-halves. That's just nonsense. Like that. If Liverpool are saying Tsimikas and Robertson are your left-backs, Bradley and Alexander-Arnold are your right-backs, then at the moment it's Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Konate and Gomez as your centre-backs. You can't let Joe Gomez leave and have no other option there. That's just nonsense. You know, with all due respect to Nat Phillips, nah. Like no. They've just let Seth Vandenberg go, so no. So if they're going to let Joe Gomez go, they have to have it. They have to get someone in first. I would do the other way around. I'd say, mate, until someone's signed, then you can leave. Until then, for me, it can't happen. I think it would be very, very unwise to go into a season with 3 centre-halves, one of whom is, one's injured or just come back from an injury and very young, and Ibu Konate's injury record isn't good enough at all to rely upon. So I think it will be done. That's where I sit with it.
Yeah, Joe Gomez is a tricky one. I've just remembered, Marco, there's a certain French international midfielder that is being, offered to quite a few teams in and around Europe. I believe he's been offered to Liverpool as well, in the form of Rabiot. What kind of memories do you have of Rabiot? And what do you think? Because it's a strange one. He plays so good for France, but yet his club career has just kind of disintegrated.
He had a very good season under Allegri, actually. He was basically Allegri's favorite player. Okay. In the second season,
that's not a good reference, goals. Right?
To be honest, I just feel like with Rabiot, the thing is he's someone that if you see, like, he's tall, he's fast, he's strong, but then he doesn't do anything with all of these qualities. I think he's so full of potential, and if you see, like, he played under Sarri.
How old is he now?
I think he should be like 30 or maybe 29. I think he's somewhere like that. He play under Sarri, he play under Pirlo, and he play under Allegri. They all play him like every single game, basically.
Wow.
But then I remember the first season, he had a very bad first half. Then he was a bit better on the second half. I think he's one that takes a lot of time to actually start going, like during the season. But it's someone that I remember him when he was at PSG and the potential that everybody had in him, and you would think like, oh, he's gonna basically become one of the top midfielders in Europe, and he hasn't lived up to that. I'm more than happy to see him go. He was on a high salary as well. He was earning somewhere around 8-9 millions. So I'm more than happy to see him go. I don't think he ever fulfilled his his potential, and he also has a lot of baggage with him. He has his mom is his agent. We had a deal basically 2 years ago with United to sell him, and then his mom asked for like crazy money as a signing bonus. And then you see him, like the season started, and you see him posting like photos on a boat in like social media, and I'm like, well, you're basically missing your career, and you're post. So I don't know. I'm happy to see him go. I think he never fulfilled his potential, but he's another player that maybe in the Premier League can do very well, to be honest. But that's the thing. When you see him, you see the potential, and all of the managers that had him at Juve, they would always speak about his potential, like, oh, he can be great. He can be great. But then in the end, it never turned out to be like great.
I think Steve will tell you we've got this off the record, no dickhead policy. So I don't think he'd pass that. He wouldn't get even through that stage, would he, Steve? By the sounds of it.
No, I was going to say, for all he's a massive cock. So, so no, it's just not going to fly. No, I'm good, thanks. I'm all right without Rabiot.
We're going to come on to sort of the final part, and obviously it's the crazy season, and there's rumors flying about everywhere. And one of the rumors just before we went live was this Darwin Nunez situation at Liverpool. Obviously, he's seen that Diogo Jota is by far the favoured number 9 to start off with. And of course, we know Diogo Jota's injury situation. He's had a rough couple of seasons now, Steve. Yeah, 2 seasons. This is his 3rd season. Darwin Nunez. And then there's tentative links with Arsenal today making an inquiry for him. I know Chelsea made an inquiry for him last season and it was rebuffed in the January window, just before the January window. But where are you with Darwin Nunez? Again, like the Gomez scenario, surely too late to do anything.
It's just too late. Like I say, I think there's some Saudi interest as well, which shock horror there always is. My opinion on Darwin is I'm just not sure. If I'm honest, I'm not sure he'll ever be of the level. I'm not sure he's of the level but you can't. It's too late now. That it would have had to have been done a few weeks ago, and Liverpool would have had to have something lined up, and it would have had to be a really, really top forward option. Because Jota's injury record isn't great. So the Arsenal thing to me, I might be proven completely wrong. No, I would recommend that as nonsense for everyone. Really, I don't see why Arsenal would particularly want him. I don't know. I don't think he would suit. I don't think Liverpool would sell him to Arsenal anyway. So I think all that you can kind of rule out if truth be told. My long-term future, I wouldn't be shocked if it's his last season. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he scores plenty of goals and is highly successful. But at this moment in time, my guess is that isn't going to go that way. If truth be told, you called him low IQ before, which was a polite way of calling him stupid.
I'm a nice guy, innit? I'm a nice guy.
He was fat. He didn't do anything to rebuff that the weekend when he stood 4 yards offside waiting for a cross. He did nothing to rebuff those claims that he might be a little bit of that. So we'll see. My reservations are I just don't think he is ever going to be off the level. And Liverpool would do well to get the money anywhere close to the money back yet. But you can't do it now. It's too late. There's just there's no one out there who could just come straight in. I know. I always say go and get Alex Isak or go and get whoever.
I was going to throw you another little nugget, and I was going to say, what do you think? And give me your thoughts on it. What if we offered Gordon and Nunez little exchange. Talk to me.
I would do that, yeah. I would do that. Because I would then say to Cody Gakpo, you're a forward, you're a striker. Yeah. I would do that. I don't think Newcastle would do that, if truth be told. Like I say, listen, I am not Darwin. I'm a Liverpool supporter, so of course I support him. I'm not his biggest number one. I'm not his biggest fan, I'll be honest. There's too many things there that just aren't good enough yet. Can he get there? Of course, I'm sure maybe. I don't know. If this would have happened 2 months ago and someone said £60 million for Nunez and you can go and reinvest it in a forward, I probably would have taken it. 3 days or so before the window closes, there's just nobody out there who you can realistically get. The Newcastle thing, when they were in the PSR issues and Alex Isak was apparently in talks with Chelsea, then yeah, I would have done that. There are names out there who potentially could have done it, but at this moment in time, it's just unrealistic to suggest anybody's going to be, that's too big of a deal, I think, to get somebody in at this stage of the window.
We're going to wrap up very, very soon. Still 1,100 of you. I'm just going to go through a few super chats. Marco, by the way, little 20 million plus Vlahovic for Nunez, would you do it?
No.
Come on.
I'm the biggest Vlahovic supporter. I want to see him under a proper manager for once. Also, I have very high hopes for him this season, but I'm starting to get used to the fact that this will probably be his last season with us, because I don't see us, unless he really wants to take a pay cut to get a renewal.
Yeah,
I don't see us paying him 12 million.
So there you go. Like Steve says, let's cling on to Nunez for one more season.
Can I ask you a question, Grizz? Do you think this is his last season? I think this is his last season.
Yeah, I've made it very clear. I think people that watch
my
my crap and listen to my crap will know that I was never his biggest fan from the start. But like you, I'm a Liverpool supporter. So anyone that wears the Liverpool top, I will support them and sing his name. I've been on those bloody stands singing his name like anything. But I don't think he's very good at football. I don't think he's very good at football. No, I mean it. I mean, I think he's got physical. When I first saw him at Aston Villa away, he terrorized Konza and Tyrone Mings at Villa Park. And I turned around to my friend. I said, "This guy's got 3 lungs. He's mental." He was making run after run after run, and I thought, let's just mold him and coach him and nurture him. And this guy's got attributes that we can utilize. And I kept saying that to people. I don't like the way he plays. He's technically not brilliant. We're replacing Bobby Firmino with Nunez, which is, as I said, the biggest contrast in footballing IQ you can ever get in the history of the game. So that worked against him because we're so used to Bobby Firmino, like liquid, compared to, I don't want to describe Darwin Nunez. So it was like chalk and cheese. He's got attributes, 100%. I just don't think it will suit Slot. It might have suited Klopp and Pep Linders. I don't think. But again, if I'm wrong, hallelujah, because that will mean he smashed it for Liverpool, and I'll be supporting and I'll be cheering. Just my opinion, just Steve's opinion before we get slaughtered in the chat and tomorrow clipped up. They hate Darwin Nunez. No, I just don't.
It's like Rabiot, basically.
Yeah,
a lot of potential.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about how do you think? I see Liverpool games sporadically. How do you reckon he would do it if he was play as a wing instead of as a number 9?
Not for me. I don't think he's just. I think he'll do great in a. I don't know what side. Steve, where would you? What kind of side would suit him? I don't know. He's just a
counter-attacking side.
He needs to play 2 up front with him. In my opinion, you need to play 2 up front.
Yeah, I think a team who counter-attacked, he'd have to learn to stay on side because he's not great at that. But look at the goal he scored at Brentford last season, counter-attacking goal. Like his pace is undeniable. It really is. And like I say, there are attributes there that you.
Yeah, there is attributes there.
I like, and again, Arne Slot. I remember when Liverpool announced Arne Slot, or the journals did. The briefing out of Liverpool was Arne Slot's going to be the new Liverpool manager. He's going to be tasked with getting the best out of Nunez. Like it was basically Liverpool's way of saying he's going nowhere. Like he's here to stay. We've invested. He's going to be asked to stay, and that's going to happen. Listen, Diogo Jota will get injured at some point. Touch wood, it doesn't. I'll be shocked if he didn't. Darwin Nunez will get a run in the side at number 9 at some point, and we'll see how it goes. You can't now. Where are we? What the window closes Friday night? Yeah, it's just it's just too late. It really
People are
is
saying
just
Atletico Madrid, a team like Atletico Madrid, maybe
Simeone would kill him. He would absolutely kill him. When he was offside for the 4th time, he just wanted to strangle him to death. He'd have no chance.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what? You make a very good point. Yeah, player welfare and all that. No, don't go to Atletico Madrid. No, very good choice. All right, we're just going to round up with the super chats. Casper says, please don't say the Nunez news are true. Please don't say. So, okay, I won't say it.
I don't think it's true.
Yeah, okay. Javed says, Assalamu alaikum. Why are we buying players which aren't a priority? As good as they might be, we need a DM, a centre-back. Where's the money gone, FSG? Money's there. We still may bring in a centre-back.
Do we need, this? We need a centre-back thing, right? I kind of get it. I do. But Liverpool do have 4 centre-backs.
Gomez stays, yeah.
Yeah. How many do we want? 5? Do we want 6? How big does the squad need to be? I get it. I would like it to be like a young 5th option, maybe, or someone who can do a few different roles. I'm not. How do you keep 5 centre-backs?
The question, I think. Okay, first and foremost, I agree with you. If Gomez goes, there is no chance. Absolute 0 chance. Clip this up. Do what you want with it. Play it all over social media. There is no way we don't bring in a centre-back if Joe Gomez goes. That's the first point we need to stress. But if Gomez stays, Steve, the argument, and I'm playing devil's advocate, the argument will be he hasn't played centre-back, Steve, for a season pretty much.
No, I agree. That's my point. But at this moment in time, there's no way you can have 5 centre. How do you have 5 centre-backs? City manage it a little bit because they will use
they play 4 centre-backs. They play 4 centre-backs pretty much.
Exactly. 4 of them play every game. I just don't know how. I mean, again, I would love us to have 17 options in every position. I just don't know if it's feasible to have 5 centre-backs on your books who aren't going to play. It makes no sense to me. If it was me, I'd have no problem if Gomez went, for example, and they brought someone in who's a bit younger and things like that. I just think it's really tough to say to someone now, come and sign for Liverpool. Okay, am I going to play? Well, you might be 4th or 5th choice. That's really tough. I don't know how that would work. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think that's really, really difficult unless you are going to say to them, go and play left back a bit like Nathan Ake does, or go and play left back like Cavadio does at City. How do you get these guys to games? I find it really tough to understand, to be honest with you.
Good Sport Review says, always great seeing Steve smashing it. Shaqiri style signing gives a different option, and 12 million is a gamble worth taking. Absolutely, we agree with all that. And then the last one, Alex says, compare Jota and Chiesa injury records, you'll laugh. What does he mean by that, Marco? Is it like bad or worse? Or
the other way around. If Jota's is worse.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well, again, part of my great research and analytical data since Liverpool have employed data analysts, I've become one as well myself. And I've noticed that, I read actually somewhere that only 2 players, or 3 was it, played more minutes than Chiesa last season.
He played more than
36. Yeah, he played 36 games, and
so there you go. Honest, what are we moaning about?
We didn't play any games in Europe, so that's another.
First of all, shout out to Lewis for the super chat. I would say, going back to the earlier one, I agree with the defensive midfield. I think if they signed us, I think there would be enough games, because I think at that point they would let Endo go. So I think this is what I'm saying. I think the numbers of the squad are okay. It goes back to it. It goes back to the quality side, doesn't it? So if you replace Gomez and Endo with a centre back and a better number 6, that makes sense. I understand that. I think at this moment in time, the idea that the squad can get any bigger than it is now, I just don't think it can. You would have to have buyers lined up for Gomez and a buyer lined up for Endo. I don't think you could just bring 2 more players in. I just don't think that's feasible. I don't think that would work at all. I just don't think.
I think you've answered my last question then, because I was going to end it and put you really on the spot. All the headlights, everything on you, spotlights and everything. 3, 4. What are we on? Tuesday? Yeah. Is it Monday or Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know what time Friday it finishes. But by the way, 11. Guys, I'm going to be doing a marathon. I'm going to have my tie on, my shirt on. I'm doing a marathon transfer carnage stream. I'm going to have guests, you know, different clubs, guests on, people thinking they know. I'm going to have ITKs, fake ones, real ones, you name it. We're going to be covering the whole of the transfer deadline day. But Steve, putting your tie and all that stuff on, what's your prediction if you was looking into a crystal ball? Are we doing anything else in your opinion?
I think they'll sell Gomez and sign a defender. I don't think they'll sign a midfielder. I would like them to. I don't think they will at this stage. If they do, I actually wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked, Grizz, and I was mad to say, I wouldn't be shocked if they signed another 8 and asked someone like Alexis McAllister to rotate further back at times with Ryan Gravenberch. Like, I know the Eze stuff's out there a little bit, something like that. But I do think Gomez will go, and I think they'll sign a defender, maybe a Geert Tweeder, something along a more versatile player. And obviously, I think the Chiesa deal will get done. So you're talking three transfers in the week. One of whom obviously is the goalkeeper who's not coming for now. So I think Liverpool needed to go into this. If it was me, I think they definitely needed the right winger. I think they needed a number 6. And I thought if Joe Gomez left, he'd need a centre back. I think we'll end up with 2 of those. I don't think we're going to get the 6. There
you go, people. Clip him up. You will appreciate that. I think as well. I agree. I think I think Gomez will go, and I think there's absolute 0 chance we don't bring in a replacement with Joe Gomez. I think there will be a few outgoings. I think we're going to hear of a huge bid for a player. We're going to try. Let's see. We obviously we done one on the last transfer window with Caicedo. I don't think he'll be that levels. But I think we will try something outrageous. But let's see if anything comes of it. But I think there's enough excitement for today. I want to thank Marco. Marco, you've been absolutely a pleasure to speak to, and I'll see you Thursday. I don't know if you're there Thursday. Are you there?
Yeah, I should be there on Thursday. Yeah. No, it was a pleasure, Grizz. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. And Steve, back to work probably next week. So I'm never going to see you again for probably 6 months, but it was a pleasure still anyway.
I mean, so you're welcome for me giving up my free time on my holidays because
yeah, no, I'm just so ungrateful, man. But anyway, people, hope you've loved that. If you have, hit the like button. If you hated it, just still hit the like button. Just because you've been here for over an hour. Well, we've been doing it if you hated it. We're over out. Weird though. Anyway, over and out. Take care. Peace.